Bonjour, Makade Benise Nishnikas, Megzay Dodem. Hi, it's Jaime here, and today I'm going to be talking with you about my experience with COVID and the fact that I tested positive. So, I'm going to start with a smudge. And I've got some sage in my smudge bowl. I'm going to say it took a lot for me to think about how it was I wanted to share what I think I needed to share about my experience. Smudge for you. Okay. So, a little bit of a backstory. I have been, going to work every day, or when I go out shopping, I wear my mask, I sanitize my hands, I wash my hands when I have the chance, and yet here I am. I still got sick. So even though I was trying to be what I thought was diligent, I guess it wasn't enough. So going back into the history here, on a Saturday, I'm going to start there because that was 2 days before I started to show symptoms. So that Saturday, I was at the lodge area and I did a lodge for an organization where no one showed up, which in retrospect was probably a good thing. But I did have a chance to visit with an elder that day, and they helped me and my son as the firekeeper. They helped redress the lodge so that she would be nice and cozy. It worked all good, and they went on to doing whatever they were doing. I did the lodge, and it was a bit of a more challenging one because it was just me singing and praying and sending those good thoughts out for the youth. And I usually plan after a lodge that I go home and rest because I feel like it does take a lot out of me. And I remember the next day I was supposed to go and help at another lodge to rebuild. And I remember thinking, you know what, I feel kind of tired and that's not normal. So I'm going to stay home and I'm going to rest another day. So I stayed home that Sunday and rested and slept lots and made sure I had good food, all those good things. And then the Monday came and I was supposed to be, out and about at work. And it happened to be that I'm like, oh, we have a meeting instead for, to discuss a couple of things, which was done by Zoom, which is good. And so I ended up staying home that day and working from home, which was good. And I remember thinking, I feel tired still. I wonder if I'm getting sick. And then by the next day, I had what was like head cold symptoms. And I was like, oh yeah, I got a cold. And I remember thinking, a lot of people are kind of acting more weird around those who are sick. And so maybe I'll go get tested just to be sure I can say it's not Rona. And I remember talking to a friend and they were asking me if I was going to go to ceremony that weekend. And I was like, no, you know what? I'm actually not feeling good right now. I don't know how I'll feel by the weekend. So I'm going to say no. I'm going to stay away. And their response was, ooh, stay away, you're sick. And I kind of felt like shamed. And it didn't feel that great. Even though I know it was a joke, it didn't feel that great. And I talked to a different friend and I was like, dude, I think I'm sick and I'm not feeling good. And they're like, oh no, stay home, feel good, and drink your teas and make sure that you're taking care of you. And the next day I was supposed to be at work and we were supposed to go for an outing to go pick traditional medicines. And I had messaged them and I said, you guys, you know what? I don't mind coming. I feel okay. Like I feel like it's just a head cold. And, I can still come. We can still be far enough apart. And they were like, you know what? Maybe you should stay home and take care of you. It's important. And I thought, okay, probably. So I stayed home. I didn't go anywhere. I checked in and made sure that the group was, that they were okay, and that everyone had the right contact information to be able to meet up and still go. And it still happened even though I wasn't there. That was good. And then the next 2 days, I figured if I wasn't well enough to go that day, maybe I should stay home the next 2 days. And then plus, while you do a COVID test, you're actually supposed to self-isolate until you get your results. And I thought, the whole time I'm like, this isn't coronavirus. I've just got, like a runny nose. And, as the days progressed, my ears started to feel itchy and I was tired, which that's normal for when you get sick. And then I got what I call chlorine nose, where you get chlorinated pool water up your nose sometimes and it kind of burns out your nostrils and your sinus and it feels burny almost, and then you can't really smell anything. Oh, I couldn't smell. So I didn't have what I thought were the standard symptoms for coronavirus. So imagine my surprise when on Friday at like 4:30, 5 o'clock, my test results were posted and they're positive. I was like, what? And even the hubby from the basement was like, what was that all about? I heard you. And I was like, I have tested positive for coronavirus. What the hell? So I started making phone calls. I went back through my contact history. I called my boss at work and I was like, I got coronavirus. And they were like, okay, what do we do? And I just, I disclosed my contacts for that week and I just said, here's where I was. And, here's the people I was in contact with. And I contacted, the crappiest part, I think, of my whole experience was when I had to call an elder who I was visiting with that Saturday. I'd done the lodge. I heard it in their voice. Like, it was like they said, oh crap, it's here. It's real. It's at my doorstep. I could be infected. I had to call this loved and respected and cherished elder and tell them, I have coronavirus. I think you need to get tested because you fall within that window of when I was considered contagious. I'm not gonna lie, I cried after that phone call because I thought, what if unknowingly I spread this virus and this person who, like I said, is loved and cherished in the community, and I couldn't go anymore. I couldn't say anymore because I don't want to put that out in the world. But it really weighed on my heart that it was unknowingly. While I was waiting for my test, I stayed away from other people. I think it's different if someone knowingly has coronavirus and they're out trying to spread it. I don't condone, vigilantism or anything like that, or shaming them, but it really calls into question of what's their rationale, what's their thinking, why would you knowingly put someone else in danger? However, when I made effort to be home and stay home and I was still shamed, I was like, oh, that's kind of crappy. I didn't feel very good about that. And that was happening in my community back home. People are self-isolating and that they're sharing that they're feeling targeted, that people are trying to say bad things about them. And it's like they weren't knowingly or actively trying to make other people sick or impact other people in a negative way. Why would you do that to people? So I guess that's what I wanted to say, that it really made me think, was how do we treat others when they say that they're sick? Are we saying, how do I help you at this point? How do I help you help yourself get better? And the wording that we use matters to help us feel better, to help that other person feel better. And I think above all, how do we treat ourselves when we're sick? I know I am so fortunate. I have just a small family at home. There's myself, my hubby, and my boy, and I was able, with their help, I was able to get the dishes and laundry done, and I was like, woo, that's lots. And of course, if we're being super hard on ourselves, I worked at one job where I was sick. I would throw up in my garbage can at work, and I would tie it off and pop a breath mint or try and brush my teeth real quick and go back to work. I am so fortunate that where I am right now, I was able to say, no, I need to stay home. I can still work from home. And so that was very lucky. But even then, I was being careful and gentle with myself. Like, I would work for a few hours. I had a nap in the afternoon, and I would get up and I would finish the rest of my day, in the early evening. But yeah, those are probably the biggest things that I wanted to share, was how we treat others when they're sick, and how we treat ourselves when we're sick. And that, yeah, we actually do need to take care of ourselves, because as a helper, we put ourselves out there and we are giving of ourselves so that someone else can heal on their journey. And that takes a lot out of you. And the people that you're helping may not always realize just how much you're giving of yourself so that they can benefit. And when they do realize it and they're able to thank you and recognize that, it feels good. But sometimes they're so needing to focus on their own healing and their own journey that you're just helping them along the way. And that's all that interaction is, and that's okay too. But yeah, I am still on quarantine myself until at least the 30th. So the most I've been doing is just ordering groceries or ordering food in, and as I feel more energetic, I've been cooking a little bit to take care of myself and my family. And yeah, that's it. If my hubby or my son are sick, well, I'll be quarantining for their time period as well. And doing my very best, I should say, to be mindful that I don't want to spread this to anybody else unknowingly, and especially not knowingly. So I will be staying in quarantine the full time, making sure I help take care of myself and my family. So with that, I say Kachimigwech for listening. See you again.